Welcome back to episode 7 of Pavs Pod. We were just trying to count up how many we had done. We've done quite a few. How do you think they're going, Phil?
They're received quite well. Everyone seems relatively positive about them. Just keeping it going, isn't it? Do some different things, try some different things. If people don't like them, I'm sure, as you know, most of the lads will be quite happy to tell us, to be honest.
We've been told when we've done stuff wrong, haven't we? So we did us for the previous swearing, so we're trying to curb that off. Today's not very sweary at all, is it? I think.
No. Jim's quite well educated, isn't he? So yeah, he's managed to able to control his F's and Jeffs. I'm not so good at it, but I try my best.
As I say, we try hard. It's easy for people like Jim who learn more words than when younger than we did. So like last week, Phil, we did a 90s footballers 15. This week we've done a cartoon 15. Should we crack straight into that?
I think so. Yeah. Do you want to open up with your front row then?
So my front row, I've gone for Bowser.
Oh.
Yeah. Fred Flintstone at hooker. And then Shrek.
Oh, good. Good. So Shrek was there or thereabouts, but I've gone for weight and physical appearance rather than brains in my front row.
Okay.
So I've got Homer Simpson at loose head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Peter Griffin at tight head.
Nice.
And then I've got Popeye at hooker.
Mass. That is
just all mass and strength. That's all it is.
That'd be quite interesting.
I do like Bowser. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of strength in Bowser, I feel.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, who's your locks?
Not the happiest with my second row partnership here.
Right.
I've gone for some good strength and vocals from Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
The Looney Tunes character. And then I thought, right, I really need to secure my line out. So who's got good hops and is relatively tall? So I've gone with Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Right. Yeah.
But again, that's now 4 out of my 8 that have got no brains, which is going to be difficult.
Yeah, you need 1 or 2. Mine, I've gone for Rex from Toy Story, dinosaur. I think he'd probably be quite a good second row.
Arms.
But he falls over. If he just fell in the way, he'd be quite strong there. And also Eggman as well, just because he's quite lengthy. He looks like he would play second row in a kind of a vets team. So I thought we'll give him a run out because I didn't really know who to put in there. I mean,
second row is a difficult one.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of for the second row that would have made sense, I was going to use some of the Monstars from Space Jam. But I didn't know whether I could have them or not.
I think there would have been dispute around it, yeah.
Because actually they're really small, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they've got the Michael Jordan's magic or the NBA players' magic, but they're really tall.
Right, yeah. Back row.
Right, this was, again, I didn't really know what I was trying to look for in my players, but at 6 I've got Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Mainly because he doesn't give up.
Yeah.
He's trying to catch the roadrunner, never gives up, but he keeps coming back. He takes a lot of physical abuse, but continues to keep playing.
Yeah.
At 7, I've got Shaggy Rogers.
Yeah.
From Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Again, he's pacey. He's always running away from stuff.
He is.
Getting himself into, bad positions, doing things that he really shouldn't be doing for absolutely no reason, like any good 7. And then number 8, I'm very happy with this one, and I'm sure people will reference head shapes for this. I've got Desperate Dan at number 8.
Oh, really? I like that. Desperate Dan does feature in my team, but not at
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, we'll get back to Desperate Dan, but I do like that back row. Very different to my back row. Right? Is my two flankers are Superman and Batman, just because I feel
oh.
there is
Why
some
wouldn't I
class.
do that?
I don't
Why
know.
wouldn't I do that?
I thought we would match on our flankers at least,
Yeah.
because I think that combination could be quite terrifying. And then I put Popeye at 8 as opposed to the front.
Hand off. Just hand off.
Exactly.
Tuck and hand off.
Yeah,
Did.
straight away. I think the packs look pretty good though, to be fair, considering, I mean, second row is hard. It's hard to envision a second row when you look at a cartoon character, really. That's why I've gone for
Have you seen how big Foghorn Leghorn is in cartoons?
I had forgotten. He's huge.
Go on,
9, 10. My 9. So I've gone for Plankton from SpongeBob. Number 9, because he's a massive knob, and he winds everyone up just like any small 9 will.
I can see why.
Yeah, he's good at stealing plans, so he's mischievous as well. So he's there for me. Quite comfortable with Plankton at 9.
Who's your 10?
I'll put Deadpool. I couldn't really think of a 10, but I thought, do you know what? There's 2 in there already. I thought I'll have 3. But for me, Deadpool is that little bit cheeky. He's a bit of a shit house, really. There's a bit of something about him. He's a bit faz in the sense of you can say what you want to, it won't faze him really.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna do Deadpool somewhere in my backs, but he didn't make the cut in the end. So at 9, I've got Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, nice. Like
just strong, small, gets on with a job, never scared. Wish we had one like that. And then number 10, I've got Donatello.
Oh,
because he's brains, he's an athletic build.
Yeah.
Carries. I was trying to make some kind of reference about carrying a shell on his back, like carrying the team, but now I'm saying it sounds ridiculous. Yeah, so Donatello for me.
I prefer your 9-10 than my 9-10, if I'm honest.
That's nice to know.
Who's your centres?
Right, these I'm very happy with. These genuinely took some thought, but when they came, they were perfect. At 12, I've got Optimus Prime.
Nice.
Which is, I mean, that's just, he's an absolute shoo-in. There can't be a better 12 in the world.
No.
There can't be a better 12 in the across the world. And then 13 is Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny? What's the Bugs Bunny?
I mean, he just does everything, doesn't he? He never gets caught.
No.
He's always on top of the opposition. He's got some chat.
Yeah.
He's just a bit of everything.
I like that.
What about you?
So this is where 12 was my desperate Dan, just because he looks.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I thought because he looks like Jamie Roberts, I thought I'd whack him at 12.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear at 13, just because again strong. Got something about him, can fly. That'd be nice for 13. But I just couldn't.
Yeah, well, he can't fly. He falls with style, doesn't he?
But I mean, I've seen some 13s do the same, and they'd say they were flying.
No.
Yeah.
No, I can see where you're coming from. See, now you say it. Did he bang Buzz Lightyear in the second row?
Could have put Buzz Lightyear in the second row. Got some shoulders on him, hasn't he?
He's got some stature, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Buzz and Woody in the second row. Got a bit of height there.
Yeah.
Bit of camaraderie.
Could be a good combination. Interesting. My back 3 is Roadrunner, Speedy Gonzales, and then Tigger at 15.
Tigger at 15.
Yeah. darts in and out.
It is unpredictable. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I like.
I'm not sure if you had Tigger at 15, he concentrates enough. See, I put him in the boiler room because there's no time off.
Yeah.
If he's not stimulated constantly, I've got a feeling you might lose Tigger.
Yeah, imagine if like a butterfly.
It's just a thought.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I'm sure there's an episode I've watched recently with Lucy where there's a butterfly and Tigger chases it for miles and miles and miles.
I think I've seen that episode.
Well, I did have Speedy Gonzalez on the wing. I mean, is the name says it already, doesn't it?
Yeah.
On the other wing, I had Woody Woodpecker.
Oh, nice.
Because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he was quick, and it was quite hard, wasn't he? Because he's got a big beak on him, so
Yeah.
quite a tough lad. And then at 15, I went for Tasmanian Devil.
Tasmanian. Oh, of course. What?
Who I was thinking about putting at hooker, but I think at 15, he can just cut loose, can't he?
100%. Yeah.
And his spin move is unparalleled.
Oh, they can get close to it. I think your team would definitely put some points past my team. 100%.
I think your weakness there would be Buzz Lightyear at 13. We'd just be playing on him all day. We'd just be putting the pressure on him. Optimus Prime would probably crush Desperate Dan quite quickly.
Yeah.
And but your forward pack's probably better than mine.
I like my front row. I like my props of Bowser and Shrek. Because Bowser...
Yeah, Bowser.
Yeah, he's a bit like Big Jack, isn't he? Where he just grunt at everything. And then Shrek just...
In fact, Big Jack does look a lot like Bowser.
He does, yeah.
That's incredible.
I've never ever thought that until this moment. Guy, Big
He's actually incredible.
If we could get him to work out how to use Zoom, we'd get him on for 10 minutes. But yeah, no.
How old is Big Jack now?
I don't know. Post.
You sure he's that similar age to my dad?
Not far. Yeah, similar, if not the same. Don't know.
Sure is. That is ridiculous how he's kept going.
Answers on a postcard. So yeah.
That's the only method of communication he knows.
Well, probably, yeah, or carrier pigeon. Anything we want to talk about? Did you watch any of the Premiership Rugby last Saturday?
I did. I watched. There was a Friday night game, wasn't there?
Sale Quinn.
And then, yeah, so I watched like the first half of that while I was cooking dinner, which was pretty boring. I think Manu Tulangi might have touched the ball after about 50 minutes, so that was a worthwhile signing. And then I watched the Tigers game on Saturday, and I think I texted you during it, just saying how horrendous it was. Tigers started well, and then do you remember battering Tigers in it? Tigers started well, and then just I don't know, they just didn't seem to be capable of catching or passing. It was woeful. It
was poor. I always think when I watch Premiership Rugby that how do they make the same mistakes, like unforced errors that I see on a pitch down at our level in the second and third team. I just don't understand it. Really don't understand it. Because we watched.
Well, the worst thing is like. Keep going, sorry.
No, I watched mine with. I watched the Saturday games with Jim, and we were just got quite bored. Even in the Bristol Sarries game, and I'm a Bristol fan. Obviously, he's got friends at Sarries. It was just boring. There was no couldn't get excited about it at all.
That was a lot of kicking. That game.
Yeah, a lot of kicking. Good old kicking.
I only watched like 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, it was poor. Anyway, should we get into talking to Jim?
Yes, let's get it over with.
Yeah, I feel again sorry for putting people through this. but we'll catch up afterwards. So, as you can see, we're with Big Jim, the self-proclaimed Big Cheese. Jim, how are you doing today?
Yeah, all the better for being on this. About time. That's all I'll say. About time.
Excited?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who am I trying to kid? Of course I'm excited. Like a kid at Christmas last night. Barely sleep.
You got to talk to you get to talk to your two heroes about yourself. There's nothing more really you want to do, is there?
I mean, the only way this would be better is if neither of you were here and they were just like pre-recorded questions and it was all about me. But, oh well.
Oh well, we don't stretch to that. Jim, Phil, are you kind of apprehensive about talking to Jim? Looking forward to talking to Jim, or?
I would never say I've ever been looking forward to talking to Jim. It's always an experience, and I'm sure Jim will offer something interesting at some point.
I'd hope.
I mean, I've been waiting for 5 years, but
yeah, exactly. Might make you wait a bit longer.
Well, we don't have your stats with us at the minute. We'll get them up. Don't worry, they'll be at the bottom on the banner when we release it, so people can at least see.
Pretty prolific. Let's just say that.
Oh, I'm not sure you know what prolific means.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I've always got games played. It's not about the tries. Games played.
It's all about influence, isn't it?
Just being there, being part of it.
That's
just nice when you turn up.
Yeah.
So no stats, but you are kind of known for a bit of your off-field personality. You're a self-proclaimed S&C coach at the club.
Head of S&C.
Head of S&C at the club.
People keep forgetting the head of part, which is annoying if I'm honest.
Yeah, and so is people interrupting your intro. So you've also recently come into some pretty crap batting form in garden cricket. And also I've heard you've got a love for hotel slippers. So could you give us a quick explanation of the hotel slippers before we go into some teammate reviews of you? Is that all right?
That sounds awful. I just say that sounds horrific. No one else has had that. That's nasty. Hotel slippers, I've just got a real thing for them. I love taking them from a hotel. You know, I like the cheaper the better as well. If you're not putting a hole in them within a couple of weeks, they're too good. So anyway, I bought 20 during lockdown off eBay. So I've got 20 packs of them. And I bet Doug Billam probably sent that in because when he was here, I opened them all and he was chucking them everywhere. But I haven't got a pair on right now because I've got socks on. But yeah, love a hotel slipper.
Love a hotel. It was actually George. It wasn't Doug.
Billam. That's all the same, aren't they?
They're both the same. Doug did give me one of my favourite reviews of you, which was he's everyone's favourite before 5 pints, which I think we can all agree with. One certain man, which is associated with a coach company, he would definitely agree with before 5 pints. Sorry. But Phil, what has been your experience of playing with Jim? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah. You know, he's half decent player, and he's definitely got when he's not got a dicky groin, he's quite good getting around the pitch. I mean, he's complaining of this swollen pubis or whatever he called it the other week, and I've noticed him pulling out of sprinting at training quite well. But yeah, he's a good player, and it was good when he came back from London. He did make a difference to the team. It's just a shame he's an arrogant prick, you know.
I was about to say that might have been the nicest thing anyone said.
I was waiting for it.
You were. I mean, people have kind of taken that positive start, good, end on a low. For example, George Billam did say, absolute legend, loyal and caring, which I thought was a bit cute, with a brilliant, extremely dark and concerning horribleness. So quite a lot of words there from George, but kind of they do sum you up pretty well.
Yeah, take it again.
And
take
then
it.
yeah, and I did reach out to another one of your heroes. I know that you've been missing running around the field with him in his vest, but Ollie Collingham did say that you're a true gentleman, that you do own Mount Calder blazer. You've always approached life fingers first, and his fiance, he says his fiance says you've got lovely legs as well. So, how do you feel about these reviews? Do you think they reflect?
Yeah, they're good. They're good, but I still stand by Malcolm's never getting a blazer. He's never getting a new blazer.
Never. No.
No chance.
Fair. How would you, if you were to write a review on yourself, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, honestly, you've put me on the spot there. I've never thought about this before, but just a top bloke. But give me some pints and it can go rapidly downhill.
Yeah.
You
never know what you're getting, and I quite like that because I never know what I'm getting either.
No.
You pulled a smoke. I came out with you for a few weeks ago, and you just disappeared.
Yeah.
At one point, which is not an unusual move by you.
No, but it's something I'm trying to get a bit better at, because I think it kind of gets and then I fall off a cliff, and you don't want to be there, I don't want to be there, no one wants to be there, and I've got good at taking myself off. It's the times I don't take myself off where we're in trouble. So a bit like Bobby last week. I thought Bobby summed it up really well. You know, he was like too drunk and he just runs off. So it's not too dissimilar to old Babs.
I'm not sure Babs would do the stuff that you do after he ran. I don't think he's quite as angry as you can get sometimes.
I didn't get angry when I've run off.
Pardon?
Not when I've run off.
Not after you've run off. I was more referring to the end of season meal. I think the thing is with you, when you're drunk, you're like a bit of a child chimpanzee playing with a human child. You're not really sure how strong you are. You've not been taught your strength yet. So then when you pick on a human child, then you tend to hurt, but you don't know when to stop.
End of season meal. I'm pleased it happened, and I stand by it, because you've got to live with that. But my God, that was a big day for me, and I can't be held accountable for my actions. I just can't.
You were pretty horrendous.
Yeah,
Even I was quite appalled, and because I'd been playing that day and hadn't had a chance to have a good run up like you had. I was the individual you may have offended quite deeply. Decided that they would find solace in me and tell me all about it. So I'd just like to thank you for that again.
It's fine. I mean, I was at the races from 12 that day, which was the stupidest thing I've ever done. But I made an entrance, I caused a scene, and I did then send my apologies, and I've subsequently said sorry to everyone involved and anyone I may have offended. So I'm keen to just move on from it. But everyone keeps dragging it up.
So you apologised in that situation, but there's another situation. I know you could have controlled your actions because we've had this conversation. I want to take you back to a Nottinghamshire versus Leicestershire 2020 cricket game. And because you only told me, you were begging me to come on the podcast, and then you told me this story. And then you regret me this story.
I instantly, do you remember my face? I was like, oh, no.
So, talk us through what happened at the 2020.
So I've got to, but bear in mind, I'll just say, look, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago. At Nottinghamshire Leicester T20, sat in the crowd, right? Got like pint here, sat in the crowd, and this bloody kid, like 2 or 3 rows ahead of me. Nottinghamshire were winning all game. It's getting towards the end of the 2020. So you know how many drinks you've had by the end of the 2020. So picture me with that many of them just sat there in the taillights. Anyway, this kid, a few rows ahead of us. Leicestershire start getting on top and start winning. This kid turns around and is like, Leicestershire! Oh, Leicestershire! He's ginger, he's got glasses. And I'm like, shut up, mate. Anyway, he keeps going on. They hit another 4. Yeah! He's there with like his dad and like maybe a couple of brothers and like a few. And he's like, keeps turning around the whole crowd like, yeah! And I'm just like, I'm just going to speak along with him. I'm like, right, I hate this shit. Like, will he just shut up? Like, this is unbearable. Anyway, he's trying to watch the game. And he's like, yeah. Anyway, they win. He's like jumping around, yeah. I'm going to kill that kid. I'm going to kill that kid. Anyway, the game finishes. All stand up, don't forget another. Walking off. Anyway, I'm gone to the toilets. And if you know you're in a cricket game and you're queues for the toilets, and I've got in, done my business, come back out. I'm waiting for everyone else. So I'm like this, chatting to my mate. Anyway, I see coming out of the toilet this kid, right? And he stopped just to the side of the door, clearly waiting for his dad or his brother. And I'm like, and I go like this, watch this, watch this. Walk over to this kid, pretend I'm going in the toilet, and as I get to the door, half a pint, I go, whoa! Fake to trip, and just launch a pint in his face. Right? But he is soaked. He's absolutely soaked. And I've instantly been like, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I start like dabbing him. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, into the toilet, straight back out, come back out. Tell my mate, I'm like, oh. Anyway, his dad comes out of the toilet. He's like, what's happening? He like points. I'm like, sorry, empty glass. And they walk off. But then I was like, carried on with the night. Woke up the next morning, and I'm like, did I throw a pint on a 12-year-old kid last night? There's worse that's happened, but yeah. Yeah, it's quite good.
I mean, I'm glad you only threw your pint on him. I was worried where that story was going for a minute.
when I said I went to the toilet. Yeah. No, not for me. I'm not like that.
No, honestly, when you told me on Saturday, I died. A part of me died inside because I was like, Jim can't drink, but he's a relatively nice lad. But no,
I think that's one of Jim's major pitfalls, is he gets absolutely like beamed on something. Like your focus just goes on one thing at a time, and that's it. You're done. You're done.
That kid was getting it. As soon as he started cheering, I couldn't think of anything else.
I can't wait for them to decide to listen to the Pavs pod for the first time, because their mate had recommended it to them, and this is the first episode they watch. And
if you're watching, kids, I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You said to me, you said to me, I woke up and you said to me, I'm actually really glad I did it. That was your exact words. Really glad I did it.
This poor kid's telling me the other end of the story, saying I got this pint poured on me by some 22-year-old balding man.
No, do you know what? I used to have a fine head of hair. It's looking all right tonight, isn't it?
No. What, from the ridge between
that
the
island is out, mate. That island is out.
Looks good from that angle.
Mate, you just need to do what I did. Just get rid of it. Do what I did.
This is fine. Look at that. Nice.
You could do with a bit of a Sharpie here, couldn't you? In that little bit.
Yeah.
Just fill it out a bit.
And the rest.
2 or 3 Sharpies, I reckon.
So obviously we put out on social media for questions from people that know you, people that don't know you, people that want to know you. We had a lot came back, and like I said to you, there's a lot that I'm not asking you on this, and I'm a horrible man, and I'm not.
Thank you.
Questions. I'll ask you afterwards, but just not recording.
Yeah.
The one came from your mate Stokesy. What's the wallet game, and how do you play?
I don't know if I. Okay, this isn't that bad. And I was 18. I started the wallet game in Ibiza, It's kind of related to rugby as well, to be fair. So theory goes, 18, first lads trip, all on holiday. You know, you've had 2 or 3 pints, probably a couple of shots or Jaegers. We used to have a shot of absinthe before we left the villa. Imagine me on all that. Yeah, exactly. So there. Anyway, the game goes as, grab my wallet, I put it in the middle of this massive open area where people are walking through. You set up people on 4 corners, right? So whoever, people walk past it and like, look at it, don't pick it up. Look at it, come back, don't pick it up. If someone picks it up, you bury them. You steam through them, you bury them, and you go, that's my wallet. Whoever's the closest point to the person the way they're walking runs and buries them. Anyway, just got it. We played it a few times. It got us into some bother a few times. A few people are like, oh, sorry. A few people, you know, kicking off, and it's like, yeah, it got quite bad. So I haven't played it. Don't think I've played it since, but I might be told otherwise.
I kind of like the idea of the game, if I'm honest.
It's not a bad concept, is it? For 18-year-olds, you know, you think you're all that, you know, never been away and all that, and then it is one that this is one where on reflection now, what a stupid game, what idiot, like just embarrassing. But
knowing my luck, I'd put my wallet down and I'd have to chase him and it would just disappear.
Yeah.
4 yards.
I can see that
it's fine. I'll cancel.
People you've gone away with there, Jim. Has anyone like picked it up and everyone's bottled it and not wanted to make the tackle?
No. So fortunately, everyone was pretty good about it, but you did have to be careful with where people were positioned, because if someone came from another angle, they could be gone. But fortunately, I'll be honest, some of our friends are pretty quick. Nathan Jones in particular, he was rapid as a kid. So if anything went wrong, he was after them. So very good.
Very good. We went to Barcelona on a stag do about 4 or 5 years ago. And have you been to Barca?
Yeah.
There's the lads that walk along the beach that sell beers, but they're not allowed within a certain distance.
Yeah.
So, our mate Jim Bob would kind of offer him more money to get him closer, and then the police would just dart after him, rugby tackle him onto the floor. But they've dropped their beer at this point, so we paid nothing, double the amount of beer.
Amazing.
Beer. The police aren't bothered about what we do. Just sit on the beach. It was great. It was a free night. It was. Have you played anything like that, Phil? You must have some cracking games that have been invented on away days and stuff like that, or on tours.
Phil, you must have.
Can't
be
even
honest,
stuff
me as an 18-year-old kid rugby tackling them, not doing much damage. I imagine you are doing quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, so I was quite sensible because I was quite aware that I was a lot bigger. I remember a game at school. So when we used to be in the common room between classes, I invented a game which was a bit like it was like a card game, and like you have to build up the card number. So like ace, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah, all up to king. But if 2 9s were put down in a row, then it was like the last person to get the hand on the pile would have to pick it up. And I would always be quite heavily distracted by conversations with other people or whatever. So it got to the point where everyone would be like 8 of you playing, sat around this tiny little table, and 2 9s would go down, people sat down, and I just started going, right, I'm just going to do an absolute Hail Mary fist.
Club hand.
So, just bang, like all these hands on the table like this, and my hand just going bang on top of everyone. So then the game when it became a double 9, if you could withstand Phil's fist, then Phil would have to pick it up. If you couldn't and you made a noise, then you have to pick it up. It's just a silly game like that. That was very sober.
That's right up your street.
It is, yeah. Especially the size of my mates. I used to hang around with all the geeks at school as well to see if it would rub off.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
He has not rubbed off.
No.
Trust me.
How is that with career recruitment, Jim? Jim, while we're in this position, can I just ask why there's a picture in the middle of your sofa over your right shoulder?
Yeah, it's just so I've got my friends with me.
It's that's taken that off the wall, haven't you? I've just realised.
Yeah, I've taken off the wall. So I've put the plant there because I didn't want to be shown up by Bobby in his backdrop last week. So I thought that was excellent. And then I've included a picture of my mates, so I don't feel like I'm on my own.
Can we have a closer look?
Oh,
don't do this, because you know what he's going to do. He's going to jot some clanging names in here, and all have to go. Oh, well, yeah, this is.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the picture I have seen, but it's
the picture you used in a in a quiz, Phil.
Yes.
Over lockdown.
Yeah.
You blurred me out and you said, "Who's this?"
Yes.
Yeah,
I've seen that picture before.
That's the slippery six.
Yeah.
The slippery six. I didn't know that's what you called yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Just, do you want to inform the viewers what that lamp's called behind you?
Oh, that's a good one as well. That's a good stitch up as well, isn't it?
Don't let me round your house, pal. Don't talk.
So, do you want to see it in action?
Yeah, go on.
Alexa, sex lamp on. Alexa,
Well, the sex
lamp off.
Why is it called sex lamp?
Somebody told me you could do it, so I thought it was quite funny.
Do what? Oh, name it the sex lamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You are never coming round again.
We'll talk about a bit different then. We'll talk about
Talk about rugby. Isn't it a rugby pod?
we didn't talk about rugby. You sound like John T. Why do you want to talk about rugby for?
I actually quite like rugby, but
There's a bit of a rugby nose.
Yeah. You are a bit, to be fair. The only thing I wanted to ask you was, Ollie Collingham told me to get you to talk about your time on your Mongol rally.
Oh, did you do a Mongol rally? You never.
Yeah, have you not heard that?
I've not heard about
that. Yeah, no, there's no good stories that can make the pod on that either, if I'm honest. So
he did tell me about a few.
What? All I can say is we were writing blogs everywhere we went, basically every couple of days, and Ollie and I would take it in turns to write them. And you could tell who'd written them because we wrote slightly different, but we also hammered the other one. Anyway, you get to like day 6 or 7, and we've just been to Prague in what was called the checkout party. Last play on words. Anyway, I get a message from my mum saying, "Hi Jimbo, loving the blogs. So glad you're doing really well. Great to see your progress. Isn't it amazing? P.S. Can you please remind Oliver that not only do we read the blogs, but we also send it on to our family. So if he could tone down the parts about you, that would be much appreciated." Anyway, hope you get on well. Lots of love, Mum. And I was like, oh, it's because he'd been, just talking about some canoodling and, just got a bit too graphic.
A bit lonely while you were over there, did you?
No, it was an Aussie bird, and he was going on about it, and yeah, my mum didn't appreciate it, so she told him. She told him.
Was it on your time out with Ollie where you and a certain Russian mafia had a bit of a scrap?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're going to listen to the podcast, so you can explain it if you want. I can change your voice. So it's like.
No, do you know what? It's a really weird one, honestly. Genuinely, I know normally we're not innocent, but we actually were. The only issue they had was that we're English. It is as simple as that. And also probably that we were in short rugby shorts and flip flops, and I think Ollie probably had a vest on in the club. But yeah, no, people just came up to me in the toilet and started asking me about Barack Obama and David Cameron and like what I thought about them, and was just hammering me about it. And I was like, whoa, like. I literally got out of the toilet ASAP, went to see Olive, like, mate, what's going on here? Anyway, went outside to get some air. Just got from the side, just got absolutely walloped from the side. Didn't see it, didn't know who it was. Anyway, I'm on the floor. I'm commando crawling, like, commando crawling back into the club, like, Ollie, Ollie. Anyway, I get into the club. And Ollie is being surrounded by these blokes on the dance floor. Like, they're literally all over him. And I'm like, fuck. So I go to Ollie, I'm like, Ollie, like, we need to get out of here. And he's like, yeah, fuck, we need to get out of here. We go to the barman, we're like, mate, like, just been whacked. What do we do? And he's like, mate, like, don't know. Because he could speak English. He was really good at English. He was like, mate, I don't know. We're like, fucking, we need to get out of here. Like fucking, literally, it was like, we thought we were going to die. There was so many people trying to gun for us. We're like, anyway, we run into the kitchen. Like, it was like one of those movies. We're running into the kitchen, like, and there's like these chefs. Honestly, these chefs, like, running through the kitchen. We're like, right, let's out. There's a back door back there. Like, oh, we can't get out. Like, no, come to the front. Come to the front. Anyways, like, right, we'll get you out. We'll get you out. So they're like, come on, come out the front. Go out to the front. There's these blokes with AK-47s. These two blokes in full camo and AK-47s outside. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. Anyway, they're there to get us into the taxi, right? So we've got these two blokes, and the barman, our friendly barman who can speak English, is like, right, come on guys, pushing us in. We're like, oh. Anyway, there's a taxi like outside. He puts us in, we get in the taxi, shut the door, we drive off, and we're literally like looking. There's a few steps up, and like there's like 6, 7, 8 blokes like coming out. They're like kind of, because it was deepest darkest Siberia. It was Ulan-Ude. It's right next to Mongolia, so they're kind of like half Mongolian, half, and they're like all like shouting at us down the thing. Get into the taxi, get home. We're like, what the hell was that? Get back to the flat. Sam Johnson passed down on the bed like that. We're like, we nearly died, mate. Look at you. Look where you've been. All that. But yeah, that was genuinely actually pretty scary. So the next night, we didn't even go out. Because we were going back, we were flying home the next day, so we just were like, there's no point, literally no point us going out, because you can genuinely do nothing. We weren't even that drunk, and yeah, just get set on. So I won't go back to Russia. Should we say that?
No, I don't think I'll go to Russia. I thought it'd be a funny story. Thanks, Ollie, for that.
I'm just a bit concerned why you didn't let Sam Johnson write the blog. I mean, yeah. he is one of the great masters of the English language.
It's a good question. I think two things have happened. We asked him, he went, no. Or he asked to, we let him write one, and we were like, no, come on. And over. So it was definitely one of the two. I don't know which.
This is a really good piece of work. We're just going to edit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll post that when we get back.
Yeah. Here's the hungry caterpillar. Go back to read.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil, do you do your package?
Yeah. Okay, Jim. So you know the drill. Just give us the quickest answer you can. Don't think about it too much. I want to know how you actually feel about these items.
Yeah.
So red or green?
Red.
Favorite drink?
John Smith's top.
Such a pleb. Favorite rugby position?
Number 8.
Sure. Paviors mates or schools mates?
Oh, well, as it's the Pabs pods, I've got to say schools mates.
Boobs or butt?
Boobs.
Max, Nathan or Alex?
Alex.
15s or 7s?
15s.
Favourite opposition?
Oundle.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love them.
Jonty or Jim?
Jim.
Well, you nearly went.
But I will say for Jonty, because obviously you don't get a question like Jonty or Jim by not being cut from the same cloth. So you know, so I love Jonty, and he is still to this day, he's made the best tackle I've ever seen on a rugby pitch. I don't know if you remember it, Phil, but Burton. So this season. Because this is the first time we played Burton in the league, yeah. So this season, first game of the season at their place, in the bottom corner, by the gate to get out, or the gate you come in to the car park, they're like number 6 or one of their back rows, maybe they're 5, one of their big guys, diving for the line, and Johnson, I do not know how he's done it, but he was behind him, and he's pulled him. He's pulled him back. As he's diving, he's over the line, like his body's over the line, and Jonty's like pulled him back, and he's not scored, and he's been pinged for holding on. And to this day, I have no idea how he's done it. No idea.
I think, although Johnny did a bit of the brunt work, I think his legs were stopped by someone like Steve.
Okay.
So Steve stopped him, and Johnny just held him up and pulled him back.
But I'm giving it to Jonty because I remember. I think I'm on the floor. I think I'm at like the breakdown there, and I remember turning as I see him going blind. I'm like, no, and then I see Jonty like pull him back. And I was like, what? And Jonty will know exactly what that is because I spoke to him straight after. He was like, how have I done that? How have I done that? It was amazing, wasn't it? And he loves it. But yeah, no, to this day, best tackle I've ever seen.
I mean, we absolutely killed him in that game as well. That was a great game.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Absolutely killed him.
Especially at their place. Oh.
Yeah, on the worst pitch in the league.
Yeah, no sign of whatever that Argentinian.
Bosch.
Yeah,
Marcelo Bosch.
All this talk. Oh, he's playing. Wasn't even there. First game of the season, he doesn't even turn up.
They weren't great, were they?
Didn't want it, boys, did he? Didn't want it.
Didn't want Jonty putting shots in.
So, Jim, obviously you've got an ingrowing hair or a pube or whatever it is that's kept you away from training. But how have you thought training's been going from what you've seen and participated in different forms?
I reckon as good as it could have been. You know, we're so limited. Everyone looks up for it. Everyone's in high spirits. Do you know what? Everyone's banging on about fitness. I actually reckon fitness hasn't looked that bad considering no one's done any like structured or scheduled training for 5-6 months. So it's clearly people have had to do stuff off their own back, which I think is quite promising. There's a bit of weight on some boys. Some boys looking a bit heavier, but hopefully it will drop off. Skill level's quite high. I think another thing that's really benefited us those first few weeks where we literally couldn't do anything but handling drills, because we've never normally spent that much time on those. And although you probably think, oh, it's quite basic at the time, it's such a foundation, and we all need it. You know, we haven't got the best hands in the league. We're not the most skillful, especially in the forwards. So I think, you know, I was noticing even by week 1, week 2, even by the end of, you know, one session, handling was, you know, much sharper. So yeah, I've been pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think it's you don't spend time on the basics, do you, when you think about rugby? And it is the basics which win games, isn't it? Are you kind of under the same kind of thought? I know we've spoken about training Phil a lot on here, but are you in agreement?
Yeah, I think when you're limited to what you can do and you have to dig deep into those skills, then it's quite interesting to see how some people cope with it. We tended to use quite small spaces as well to make it more difficult. So if you think of the stuff we did in the 10-20 metre grids, that's quite an intense space to execute a skill. And that's kind of the focus we've been working on. Now it's kind of opened up a bit. So for tonight's example, we did some defensive stuff, and we were using the whole pitch. It becomes a bit of a blower for, you know, the lads, but what we're trying to do is the lads that haven't trained as much, get them thinking outside of, you know, the more simple things we've been doing. But I think narrowing things down and going back to basics always helps, to be honest.
Yeah. Definitely. Is there either of you think we need to focus on for next season, or do you think we're on the track to be kind of the best we can be prepared as a first team squad and as a wider squad?
I personally, from just a purely players perspective, the teams we played this season, I was very impressed with. You know, I'll take Bourneville out because I think they're a cut above, and I don't think we should try and emulate them because we aren't them. But the other teams, some of the good teams we played, that shoot ball or that ball out the back from a forwards, bloody hell, you know, as a defender, because we'd never come up against it before. You know, Phil, you'll have seen it loads, so you're a bit like, oh, you push. The first time, I remember, who were we playing? Sandbach away. You and Nath were at a wedding or something. I remember, boggiest conditions ever. You had no grip on your boots anyway. And you're running up, some big old ball carriers. You're running up thinking, right, I've got to get up in their face. Got to get off the line here quick. Right, you run up. And then they pull it out the back. You try and change direction. You've got them in the way of you. And you're just like stumbling all over the place. You're not in the line. You're nowhere near. And I remember thinking that game, I was like, right, we're on to like a tough old game here, because it's just that next level, and we've started. That's obviously what you and Nathan are wanting to put into our game. I think if we can nail that, then teams will understand it. Teams and people will kind of know what we're doing. But the bottom teams that we should have been beating, but we kind of not. I think we'll blow away. I really do.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, our attacking ability in that league was fine. But I still think we left a lot of points unscored, if you like. So if we can score more, and then the way we're going to attack now will be less energy sapping for the forwards, especially, and therefore we'll have a bit more energy to defend with. And that obviously, my main focus is defence normally, but having a bit more energy to defend with is always quite useful. So if this attack, you know, just fall in place, and even on Tuesday night, it went from being a bit messy into some quite nice sort of play. Yeah, I think it will come nicely.
I mean, I thought it was head way above what we've done these last few months. Some of that attacking play. Granted, I think we had a few more key people in key positions, and there's a bit more continuity there. There were genuine 9s. And there were genuine 10s on every attacking team we had, really, weren't there? Which makes a huge difference. But I think when you've got that and people calling the shots, I think we're a good team when people tell us what to do. I think there's a lot of us, especially in the forwards, that we do need to be directed about. So when we're in a touch team where we haven't got a Marshall, we haven't got a Doug, a George, a John T, you know, someone who's really onto it as a back, we're a bit all over the shop. But tonight, when you've got them just shouting at you, we'll do what we're told. As a forward pack, we will do what we're told. And then the younger kids will as well, and we kind of drag them with us. So I thought tonight was the most promising it looked by a lot.
Definitely. We just need to be able to play in bigger groups now and be able to execute things on a sort of a more difficult level. But yeah, it's coming. It'll get there. It's going to be a weird old few months before we start playing again, but we'll get there.
Good that we keep getting 20 turn up though, isn't it?
Yeah, perfect numbers.
Amazing.
Numbers have been high, haven't they? I mean, I'm not one to stick weekly, but I know there's people that would normally train weekly, so that's good. Obviously, you wanted to talk about rugby, Jim, and I guess if you wanted to go really nosy, where do you see rugby going in the next kind of at our level of rugby? Do you think what we're going to look like after the pandemic? Are we going to get back to normal at all, or?
I think this time next year, I hope anyway, it'll all be forgotten, and we'll either have that old vaccine or we'll just have to get back to normal and it'll just become like the flu. But I think I still stand by it. I don't think I'm playing a game of rugby this year.
Not till January.
Yeah. I just don't see it.
No, it's looking less and less likely. definitely.
Because you're getting all these local lockdowns in places. You're getting, any sort of spike. I mean, my mate was saying that apparently somebody tested positive at one of the professional clubs, and then suddenly everyone that trained that day, you're in isolation until you can get a test, and then you're allowed back in, and then they're looking at video training footage to see who they've come into contact with, and and that's at the professional level. If I test positive, then surely everyone at training tonight has to self-isolate.
Yeah, especially when you go around kissing and hugging people, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry about those 200 birds in Nottingham as well that'll have to self-isolate. Am I right? But yeah, so I just don't see how they will be able to control it, because I think they're struggling even at professional level. So, yeah.
And it's not even the game itself, is it? I mean, you're probably not so much at your level, probably a bit more kind of second, third team, but you'd have experienced it. You can't social distance in some of the bloody changing rooms you have to go to either. It's not like you've got the glorious changing rooms. I don't know, changing rooms in rugby aren't glorious at any level, really, and until you go to an international stadium. But you can't, it's just not possible, is it? I agree. I don't think we're going to be playing a proper competitive game of rugby for a long time yet. But we will see some old clubs go, won't we? I imagine. We will see people clubs struggle, because we're quite...
Hopefully. I actually want to see it as well. I genuinely, any team that's any club that's not been run very well, or, been paying or been used as a bit of a money maker, I hope that they go, because I want that out of the game for the long term. Obviously it's not. I don't agree that it's fair on the players and the supporters, the locals that have been there all the time. But I'll use Bournemouth as a prime example. Can't stand them. Arrogant club, arrogant people, incredible rugby players. Don't get me wrong, but if you're needing to rent your pitch out and to pay all this just to pay for your squad to play, then you have no place in our league. So what are you doing? So it's clubs like that I don't feel sorry for at all. I don't consider that grassroots rugby. They're just mercenaries. So yeah, clubs like that, I'll be happy to fold and suffer, because I think a genuine club will kind of a phoenix rising from the ashes. A genuine club will come, and we'll get back to the good old days, and hopefully more clubs like us.
Yeah. No, I do see your viewpoint. I probably wouldn't want them to fold. I want them to go into the point where they can't play players. That would be. I
want them all the way.
What was it George Billam said? Extremely dark and concerning horribleness. Found it. Yeah. Should we move on to rugby memories, Phil?
Yeah. So Jim, what's your worst rugbying memory?
I'm going to go with 2. There was one. So, as a schoolboy, I loved the old wind-up miss path. Loved it. Anyway, the number of interceptions I used to give away. It was staggering. Again, fortunately, I had some quick boys who could track them down and catch them before the line. But yeah, so I've got some horrible memories of throwing some miss passes. A bit like tonight, actually, Phil. A few tonight, didn't I? So it's still there, but fortunately, I've not done it in a game for a number of years. But definitely the worst one was that old Northamptonians, Northampton Old Scouts, one of them at our place in the cold weather. The season we got
old Northamptonians, yeah.
Nothing will ever.
That was
I
horrendous.
thought Peterborough away 2 seasons before was bad. That was like a sunny day in comparison, wasn't it? That was awful.
That's the one. It was the same season.
Yeah.
Same season.
Of course it was.
We played Peterborough away. It was windy.
That was it. The wind factor then, wasn't it? But
it was horrendous. We got in the bus on the way home, and by the time we were in Nottingham, there was a foot of snow. And because we had the curtains drawn, we were all like, what's going on?
And we stopped at the pub for about an hour, which was not the wisest thing to do.
It was so cold outside.
But yeah, there was that, and I just remember Collingham having to go off early because he was so cold, and then he's in the shower like this, like just sat on the floor with his hands. That was awful. That was
For me,
honestly,
I think we mentioned this last time. I think it was when Johnny was on. That was one of Johnny's worst memories.
yeah.
But me and Johnny just came off the pitch and looked at each other and went, because we had the Christmas do that night, didn't we?
Yeah.
Me and Johnny looked at each other and went, I'm going home. And I went and stood in, we'd just had our new ensuite fitted with this Uber shower. And I went and stood in there for 45 minutes and then went to like a Christmas evening with my daughter when Lucy was like 2 and her like little mates. And then I came straight to the club and I was still freezing cold by the time I got to the club.
That was
a horrendous, horrendous. We won though, comfortable win.
Oh, battered them.
Too cold.
I remember because I was playing 12 then. I remember at one point they knocked on, I think, in their own 22, and there was like 10 minutes left, and their hooker literally just went to the free kick. Just call it now, mate. Just blow the whistle.
That was the crazy thing. The ref should have done it. I remember it being so cold. I went to, obviously, I think we all ran straight off. There was no huddle. There was no nothing. It was like straight off. I ran off. I went to like, and normally my dad's always up on the balcony or like comes down the side and I say hello to him after every game. And I was like, Dad? Anyway, nothing, ran inside, get a message from my mum saying, your dad left early in case you were wondering. He was like, too cold even to watch.
Jeez. Crazy. How was, so that was your worst. What's your best rugby memory?
Oh, it's playoff. Unbelievable. I've never been part of anything like it. So I didn't particularly enjoy the game myself. Yeah, it wasn't my favourite game, but that when that final whistle went, you've got people running on, and then you look back. But one of my favourite bits is watching Bob Senior's video. You remember his video he was taking from the car?
Just like that, innit?
Because his phone, his iPad was running out of battery. So the next day, Bob Senior puts up this, and it's like all at the side. And then he's in this car, and he's like, bloody hell, they've done it. And you see, and then it's like, you see him running, and you can see him running, and it all goes to pot. And then I think the best story is the next day, he was like, I think I left my car, keys in the car, window down, never went back to his car because he just got so hung up in the moment, straight inside. And then it was only the next day when he goes back to his car, he goes, bloody hell, I left it unlocked with the keys in and the window's still down because he was just so engrossed in the moment. And I think that sums it up perfectly. It was just an amazing day.
Yeah, I think it caught us all by surprise with it, actually. I wouldn't say I wasn't positive about our hopes for the game, but I felt when we didn't win the league, I was like, oh, well, we've missed that opportunity to get promoted. And we'd beaten, obviously, Bridgeford in the dual Notts and NLD Cup the week before. And I was like, well, that's probably as far as we'll go this year because, that's quite nice to win both the Cups. And then it got to half time and I was like, we're in this. We're generally in this. And then I think we scored in the second half and George slotted that kick and we're 10 points ahead. And I was like, and I said to the referee, oh, how long we got left? And he was like, 5 minutes. I was like, fucking hell, we're in this. We're 10 points up. And I was just like, oh, this is big. I mean, I've played a lot of rugby and played with some amazing players and all around the world. And I still think that's probably my favourite part of rugby ever as well. That's just, and it was because it felt like it was our club.
Yeah. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At what point did it set in straight away what had actually happened? Because obviously there's the initial celebrations, there's the sing songs, there's the beers, but at what point that next week was it immediate? The next time on the Sunday when you woke up, was it one of them of, oh shit, we've actually done it kind of thing? Like we're done. That's the season. It's on to the next one.
So I know exactly where mine was. So woke up on the Sunday, pretty worse for wear. But the twos were playing at Lady Bay in that final, weren't they? It was a lovely, lovely hot day.
Yeah.
And I'd managed to. My dad wanted to come and watch as well, so I was like, "Oh, amazing! There's a lift." So I'm like, I don't have to worry about driving as well in there. So my dad's gone. We've got out, and I've got out of the car and I'm walking. You know, you drive through Lady Bay, you park on the bar pitch. I'm walking back, and I remember vividly, like, I didn't really think anything of it. And then everyone I'm seeing is like, "Oh, mate, well done yesterday. What a day. What a day." And I'm seeing all like the Deuce players and the families, you know, all the Briggses, you know, Jim Bradley, they're like, "Oh, what amazing." Like, shake. And I'm like, it is actually, isn't it? Like, how good's that? And that's when I was thinking, of course we've done it. And then I saw all the boys, everyone's still like, you know, right there. Everyone's on the beers again. And we're all just talking about, and it was that, again, such a good day. The twos had a great game. So the threes were playing when I got there in their final. And then and then we all went and watched the two. And again, a great day for the club that day because we won both games.
And I tell you what, it did. I mean, as a club, we're pretty successful in the kind of regional cups anyway. But it was even more kind of, it got everyone going again, the thirds and the seconds, because you lads had done it on the Saturday. It was our go on the Sunday. It was like, well, we want to go and we want to have our time to celebrate as a club now. We need to finish it off properly. So it did kind of, it got us going as well. When did it set in for you, Phil? When did it set in to you that we were promoted?
So I remember the day Jim was talking about, because we won, obviously got promoted, and then Ruth, obviously all my family was there because there's me and my brother, and Ruth and just Lucy at that point. And I remember like having a cuddle with Lucy on the pitch, and then Ruth said, "Right, we're going to go home in a bit, so you're going to go out, but remember, I'm getting on the train at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning down to London, so you've got Lucy all day." So I got hammered, and then I had to wake up at like 8:30 and look after a just turned 3-year-old. Or maybe she wasn't even 3 then. Yeah, no, she was just been 2. But I got to Lady Bay very early, having been to McDonald's with Lucy and given her a McDonald's to keep her quiet for 10 minutes. Turned up and I was like, chucked her onto like the side of the pitch. I think she was warmed up with you lot, Tom. I think she was actually warming up with you.
She did, yeah.
And I just stood like with my hands like in my head, and then because I think I was the first one of the first team to arrive, probably.
Yeah.
Slowly that started going up. So, but to be honest, it didn't kick in until maybe the beginning of the pre-season, when suddenly I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do a bit more sort of thinking about how we're gonna play and come up with some things that are gonna develop us." And then I was suddenly like, "Fucking hell, how have we actually got into this league?" Because I remember that the previous January we played Oundle away on like the first game back after Christmas, and we beat them very narrowly on their little postage stamp of a pitch. And I remember walking into the change rooms and sitting down next to Ollie Hanson, just going, "We are shithouse. How have we won that game? Like, we are the worst team to be good at rugby in the world. We didn't really deserve to win the game, but I never felt like we were going to lose it." And I think things like that are just ridiculous. Like, I was just like, how are we in this league? Like, how have we managed to get promoted off games like that? But yeah, it's. But then I felt pretty comfortable last year in all the games as well. So.
We just keep cracking forward, didn't we? I guess, and we just keep doing what we're doing as a club, and you guys keep doing what you do up there as a first team, and hopefully that we'll have many more years of success. So, but I guess that's probably a nice ending to a relatively decent pod. You weren't the crack you said you were going to be, if I'm honest. You begged us for a while to get on the pod, and you're only on because George was unavailable. Yeah. So you're kind of third string.
I messaged him earlier about it. But George, I can't, because obviously it's Thursdays. We normally always go to Sam Hall for SFC, Sam for Curry after training on a Thursday. I was like, oh, no SFC for me tonight. And he's like, what? I'm getting him, and he's right. He's like, why aren't you doing this? You didn't get that. I'm like, oh, I'm on the pod. We're recording the pod. He's like, no, you're not. You're lying. You winded me up. You winded me up. And I was like, no. And he's nibbling. He's going so hard. And that was about 8:30. And then Tom, you messaged out, about to put a post down. And he's like, and then he comes back about half an hour past, and he messages me back going, wait, you're having me on. It's Chev this week. There's been no post about it being you. You've made it up. Well done, you've played me. About 2 seconds later, you did that, and he goes, oh my God, it's actually... He was raging.
He was fuming. He messaged me, and I fed it.
Did he?
Yeah, he messages me every time it's not him. It's not my fault. His diary's too busy. Anyway, Jim, thanks for this evening, mate. It's been lovely to have you.
It was a pleasure.
And well done for not getting too drunk. Right, see you in a bit. So that was Jim Reeson, living up to the Jim Reeson expectations. It was all right, wasn't it?
It went better than I thought. He wasn't as Jim Reeson about it.
No, he was obviously only had a few pints as opposed to 5.
I think I must have tired him out at training before we started.
Probably a good idea. Maybe that's like like what you do with children. If you've got a evening, you get, right, we're going swimming today.
That's all rugby coaching is, Tom, is looking at the children.
Fair play. I mean, Jim's going to feature even more in the outro. So, but you and Jim and a few others are getting a few rounds of golfing in a few weeks. Do you want to explain a bit more around that?
Yeah, so we, as a club, we tried to do quite a bit of charity work, and we've sort of taken it on ourselves to try and raise some money for cancer research while we're not playing rugby. So I spotted that cancer research are running a golf challenge, when normally, if you're not psychopaths, you do 4 rounds of golf over a weekend. So two rounds a day, 36 holes a day, which just sounds like a nice, fun weekend away off parenting for me. So to make it a bit more of a challenge, and hopefully to raise a bit more money, we're going to play all 4 rounds in one day on the 19th of September.
Oh, dear.
So we're literally teeing off at 5:30 and playing 72 holes before sort of 8 p.m. that evening. So there's me, Jim, George, Theo, Jonty and Rich LaPlanche all doing it. We've got multiple different versions of golf to play, and it'll just have to be played quite quickly. But yeah, we're hoping to raise, quite a bit of money for the Cancer Show. I think we set ourselves a target of £1,000. It'd be nice to break that and be able to sort of put Paviors on the map as a club that's trying to do something. Obviously, the club's lost a few of its members and ex-players to cancer, and it's just something that we're willing to support. I know we've done a lot of stuff for Maggie's in the past, and we'll continue to do so, I'm sure. But yeah, it's another cancer-based charity that we're trying to support. Yeah,
no, sick. It sounds like it's going to be a struggle, to be fair, I imagine. Lots of walking, lots of swinging.
Yeah, so I'm playing with Theo today, actually, as a bit of practice. And Theo's taking it upon himself to run first. So he's going to do like a 5K run first, then meet me at the golf club and play golf. Because we're going to end up walking like 20 miles during the day. So Theo's trying to get the fitness side of it in.
Jeez, that's a lot of walking. Well, maybe then Theo should probably attend the mass exercise on the 30th of August. That was smooth.
That was a lovely link, Tom. That was absolutely
great,
fantastic.
Pointing that one out. So Jim Reeson and Ollie Collingham running a mass exercise event, aren't they, up at Pavs on the 30th of August. Do you have any idea what that entails, and will I enjoy it?
Considering it's Ollie and Reeson, there'll be a lot of self-praise and talk by them. whilst they're telling you to do probably relatively horrendous fitness. Both of them are quite fit. Both of them tend to keep going for a long time. So take plenty of water, some sun cream, and go shed at probably about half a stone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they have firstly matching vests, and
Oh, of course.
of course they will, and also a nice little Britney mic each, just like
Rice Krispie.
yeah. I think that will suit them. But that'd be good fun. Get out the club. I'm sure it won't be exercise and leave. We have to do something as well. So it'd be good to see as many people at the club as possible. And we'll catch up next week then.
Bro. All right, mate.
Have a good one.
Bye.